Human beings. Well, Mike Stevenson, what does that wording mean to you?
Well, it means something that's not a set of digits.
Huh.
It's not a number.
Yeah.
Every human being has got the most enormous capacity. And when you see it in children, you realize just how great that capacity is. I don't know if you've heard of a woman called Kiran Bir Sethi. She runs a school in Ahmedabad in India.
Okay.
And at the age of 7, she tasks her children with going out and changing 1 billion lives.
Whoa.
They start cascading it. So she's had children going out and speaking to employers about child labor, getting them to end it. She's got children who have persuaded the local metropolitan council to close down the city 1 day every 2 months and handing it over to children. And now this across India is spread across India. And they're doing all sorts of amazing things. And she's done a TED talk, Kiran Bir Sethi. I'll send you the link afterwards, because this is really quite understanding. The Jesuits say the age of understanding is 7. But
a holy number.
It's a holy number. I think what she is proving is that these children have got the most enormous capability. They're going out and they're educating their elders who cannot read and write.
Yeah.
Teaching them. I mean, it's extraordinary. So what do? We kind of keep young people at those early stages as being compliant. Mm-hmm. Listen to us, we know best.
Right.
Rather than sharing ideas. And I've been in primary schools and I've asked questions and I've got them to do things, design posters for a campaign to reduce the consumption of alcohol in the neighborhood. Wow. And they come up with these amazing things, like when I see mum and dad, drink, it means broken promises. Now, you don't think of that, do you? When we played this to their parents in a play, the parents just sat open-mouthed. They've been nobbled. I don't know if that word means in any sense in the States, but they've been caught because they didn't think that the child had enough sophistication to realize that we'll do it next week, darling. We'll go to a bigger.
Yeah. Next week. They'll forget about it.
Yeah, children feel let down.
Yeah.
So, they are picking up things all the time. So when we start, exploring the creativity and the imagination of all parts of the community, we find richness. I have been able to do this because I have worked with people in communities. Yeah. I have, had these big ideas sessions, and you show things that have happened. You show extraordinary ideas that have taken root around the world. And then you open the door to people to say, right, nothing is too daft. Right. Nothing is too stupid. Henry Ford said, if I'd asked people, I would have had to create faster horses.
Right.
So, creative people with imagination, they see things that other people don't see. Yeah. So when you're a child and you say those things, people say, oh, listen, wait till you're old enough and wait till you're, bringing in money before you start thinking about things like that. Yeah. Nonsense, and if we allow that imagination and creativity to flourish amongst our young people, it will continue, because by the time, most people reach adulthood, the creativity has been stripped out of them.
Yeah, for sure.
Been educated, from the neck up.
Yes.
Just what, and
what to think, not how to think.
We've routinely stripped humanity of its greatest asset, which is its creativity.
For sure.
Which is, to me, is the ability to create something that has value.
Yeah.
And when you start, getting into that mode, and by the way, we could be doing this all around the world. Tomorrow, if we just said, let's just have these big sessions, these big creative sessions, we will find the next Einstein in a poor community somewhere in the southern states of America,
Right.
or on the outskirts of Glasgow in some of these housing estates, or anywhere in the world, because people aren't given the chance. And if they fail in education, that's it. No one gives them a chance unless they have this little spark to do something themselves. But a lot of that's been taken out of people as they grow up. So my proposition is anything human is possible. Anything human is possible. When you think of the extraordinary things that humanity has achieved over the years, and now we're at a kind of impasse on some of the things that are besetting the world, well, we have to say no more. We want to find positive solutions. We don't want to fight wars over it. We don't want great political battlegrounds over it, because they're very obvious. No one's going to argue with, not having so many poor people in the world. No one's going to argue with, water shortage being a real problem, which in places like Africa would drive more refugees around the world than we have just now. And then people complain about refugees arriving on their shores. You have to add it all together. It's like a jigsaw. And when you put it all together, you work out that the way to keep, people in countries where they're happy and they're fed and they're not poor is to do certain things now.
And stop like creating, like there's this thing in health where the little cats are, up on the cliff and they keep, falling off the cliff or driving off the cliff. And so they decided, they should, build a barrier. And the little baby cat says, well, why, because they're like, oh, no, I think I have it wrong. They was like, oh, we need ambulances. We need to create ambulances. And the little cat said, well, why don't you just create a barrier so the cars don't go over in the first place?
Exactly. Absolutely. But that's what I'm talking about. We go into this complexity because our whole mental kind of understanding of how we do things is with policies and procedures and rules and we've got to have a huge budget. Ideas cost nothing.
For sure.
And they have no hierarchy.
No.
And the world we're living in at the moment, we're giving ideas, or the freedom to have ideas, to the people that run the money of the world.
We're also very brainwashed. So I love monkey study. I'll send you that link when we're done too. Because like they put all these monkeys together, and then when the monkeys climbed up the tree, the bananas zapped them. And so they learned not to go up there. And then they had babies. And then as soon as their babies would try to go up there, they, I think they threw their babies off, or they introduced new monkeys and threw them off. Anyways, it's so incredible. They did. They introduced new monkeys and they would just scream and throw them off. So they did it. They didn't go up there just out of fear of what the other monkeys were going to do to them. Right. But it's still all fear based. And then when that set of monkeys had babies, they didn't even attempt the tree. It's like, we have stuff ingrained in us. We have no idea why we do things the way that we do, or where the real fear is coming from. So we get to remember like generational trauma and all of that as well. And then anything is possible. I love it. Thank you so much, Mike. Really.
My pleasure. I'm always ready to talk about the world because, we cannot sit talking forever. It's about going out and doing things. And that does take leadership and audacity and creativity.
Love those words.
Things I stand for.
You do. Thanks again, Mike.
It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Same here. Bye-bye.